Welcome back to the Kingdom Growth Podcast, where we dive deep into the strategies, mindset, and real life experiences of entrepreneurs who've broken barriers and scaled to new heights. What if I told you that the difference between struggling to break past six figures and scaling to multi millions comes down to just a few key decisions? Today's guest, Daniel Chou, did not just hit seven figures, he did it with precision, strategy, and a mindset shift that most entrepreneurs, truthfully, will never make. Daniel is a two comma club award winner, meaning he's built a funnel that has generated over $1 million in revenue. But what's even more impressive, he's done it in a way that's repeatable, scalable, and built for long term success. In this episode, we're pulling back the curtain on how he did it, the systems, the strategies, the mindset shifts, and the hard lessons learned along the way. If you're looking to scale your business, dominate your niche, and break through your own revenue ceiling, you do not want to miss this one. So buckle up, take notes, and get ready because Daniel is about to drop some serious game. Let's dive in. And first and foremost, Daniel, I want to say thank you very much for jumping on the podcast with us, man. This is really an honor of a lifetime to have you here. And I hope the introduction did you justice. But if you did, or if you would like, just dive in for a moment and explain briefly about that journey, kind of from delivery driver to now a multiple seven-figure earner, man. What has that been like?
Oh, Zach, it's my honor to be on your podcast and great to meet you guys, the audience. And that was a powerful introduction. I love it. Yeah. So just very briefly, okay, my journey online actually started around like 4 years ago. Okay, and at that time, I was the delivery guy. I deliver auto parts, right? And just like a regular, normal, hardworking father, husband. I have two boys, right? Now one is 9 years old, the other one is 5 years old. So 4 years ago, I just had a new baby, and despite ho- I work very hard every single day. However, I got I got consumed by the life challenges, right? So the bills were piling up. I was falling behind on all kinds of commitments. Then to make matters worse, I owe a lot of credit card debt. And so 4 years ago, the I actually got sued by American Express. Okay, and so my life, I was at the lowest point of my life. At the time, I had to put my family on food stamps, and and I feel like a failing father, failing husband, right? Failing my family. So I had to find other ways in order to get my life and also my family back on track. And that's how I started my online journey at the first place. So that's where I came from. And um, initially, I mean, the journey was just like if you want to build any business, it was full of challenges, right? And including not just my own self doubt, my own fear, also my family members, including my wife, they couldn't understand what I was trying to do, right? So initially, I felt lonely on this journey. And but fast forward to today, I mean, everybody is happy within my family, right? So I feel grateful. Okay, feel grateful that I found a way to turn my life around.
And that's a powerful story, man. You go from delivery driver to being sued by Amex to going on food stamps to now being a seven-figure earner. And I think one of the most powerful things you mentioned there was you were consumed by the external factors, right? And some of
Right,
that comes from not taking control of the internal, which we can always control the internal, but we can't always control the external. Um,
right.
and most entrepreneurs, they spend years trying to hit seven figures. I think it's only 9% of businesses in the United States are recorded to do at least seven figures in a year. I mean, you did it, man. Like, what's something that most entrepreneurs are just doing completely wrong that's keeping them stuck?
Well, I would say When I first started out, okay, I had to admit, I mean, the seven figure was too far. The goal was too far, right? Too far out for me. I couldn't see, I didn't imagine I would hit seven figures. And I had my goal. I see a lot of people were very successful online, okay? And so number one, I found role models. I found people that I can learn from. That's number one. Number two, I focus on the steps ahead of me. So I would say I didn't have any like a secret sauce, but I set a goal, then I focus on that mini step ahead of me. Then I'm stubborn. I'm quite stubborn. So I just focus on executing every single day. And initially I made a lot of mistakes, but that's the way we learn. I learned how to solve problems. I learned how to fix mistakes. Then step by step, that's how it got me to where I am right now.
So it was breaking the big goals into smaller goals and
Correct.
taking it. They say how does somebody eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. you know, um,
Yep.
and you really did that. But I think one of the most I would say one of the very very most powerful things you just said was seven figures was too big for you at the time. Uh,
Yep.
so you had to shift your thinking to say, okay, this is possible, and also know that you deserve it, right? Um, but
That's actually the key. That's actually the key because I remember in old days, right? In my first 6 months of time, I I couldn't make any money online. Okay, even though I worked super hard. Okay, I spent hours every single day and try to build my business. But initially, the results were not there. Okay, and I kept reminding myself, if other people can do it, I could learn how to do it too. So that, that belief pulled me through all those initial challenges. Okay. If you are listening to this podcast or if you are watching this right now, if you are in that place at the beginning of your journey, right, you are going through struggles. I want to remind you, okay, number one, the 90% of your success come from your mindset. So you have to find that belief within yourself. Okay. You have to know that if other people can do it, me as an immigrant, I cannot speak perfect English. If I can do it, you can do it too. You just need to learn how to make it happen.
and you would say 90% of it comes from the mindset specifically.
Yeah. If not more. Yeah.
That's interesting. And would you say there was a moment where, maybe this was over those first 6 months, but was there a moment through that journey where you're like, man, this just isn't going to work? Like you were ready to quit. Was there a time?
Loads of time. Loads of time. Yeah. And loads of times that I'm a normal human being, right? Just like a lot of people. When sometimes the challenge was too big, I it seems that I couldn't overcome those challenges. Okay, and so I also had the thoughts that maybe I should quit. Maybe I need to find other opportunity. Okay, including my wife, and she will suggest, hey Daniel, why can't you just be a normal husband, go out there get another job, right? My mom, who is back in Taiwan, she would check newspaper for job opening back in Taiwan. Then she will, when every time I talk to her on the phone, she say, hey Daniel, why don't you just come back, be an engineer in Taiwan? So a lot of
Wow.
family members, I mean, they did that for my good, right? But they don't understand my internal challenges, the journey I try to pursue. So a lot of times I thought about quitting.
And you had a lot of you had some of the most important people in your life supporting you quitting.
They want me because the from the external results, I didn't have any results initially. So if they just look at the data, right, they can understand why I keep going on that route instead of there is like more secure way, right, to make some money, get a normal job. All right, if one job is not enough, get a second one.
And so what's something you believed about business or success 5 years ago that kept we can just say the past 3 years, what's something that kept pushing you forward? What do you realize now was wrong back then, but you know now? Like, how did you push through the time when they're like, get a job in Taiwan, get a couple jobs? How did you, what was in your mind at that time?
Okay, internally, okay, right. Fast forward to today, right? Throughout this journey, because I'm doing coaching, I'm doing digital marketing. So uh, I right now, if because you have different challenges at different level. Okay, even though I'm making multiple seven figures right now, I still have my daily challenges. So when I have challenges, when I feel down, right? Number one, I pray. Number two, I I look at the people I'm helping. Okay, so student testimonials. I see other people's life got changed. I use that to draw power from their feedback. Okay, but back in early days, um, during that period, during that dark period, okay, uh, like, like I mentioned before, I have two boys, right? So initially, the money I wanted to make, it was not there. So the only thing support me to keep going was number one, I remind myself whatever I'm doing right now, I pretty much set a example for my two sons. Okay. So I don't want them to learn how to quit. I
Mm.
want them to see their father, despite all the challenges, right? Whether that's family challenge or outside challenges, I still actively looking for solution, try to overcome them. So I document my journey initially. Okay, I think I did that part right because I didn't have any like fancy solution. I just document my journey, and for the main purpose is that if one day when I leave this world, at least my two boys, they have something they can watch and they can see how I push through those challenges.
Yes. I think that's something very powerful that you did, because if somebody goes back and looks at your social media,
Yeah, yeah,
there,
yeah,
one of the I think one of the most powerful things I've ever seen in your social media was when, and that you know the story better than I do, and I don't remember it word for word, but like when your son walked in and it was like your last try, your last attempt, and he talked about doing stuff online, and that was a turning point for you at that time, correct?
yeah. It was. I mean, this business, I mean, changed a lot of things in my family. Like 4 years ago, right? I mean, 4 years ago, I think that was time. About 4 5 years ago, that was the time I got to know Jesus. Okay, I mean, that was during that time because I didn't know where I can find help. I was an alcoholic. Okay. I haven't had a single drop for 4 years already. But 4 years ago, I was an alcoholic. So my life was a mess. So I think finding a purpose is very important, whether that's in life or whether it's in business. You have a goal, you have a vision, right? Then you just hold it tight. Then the path might not be smooth, but you're gonna become a different person while you pursue that goal step by step.
And
Yeah.
I think it's important you mention how you found Jesus at that time. And like, you know, I always say if we can't see a bigger purpose or a bigger picture, you can't you're not striving for anything. I've always said, like, there's no finish line in life until we're buried, right? And that's when
Hmm.
we're finished. But you've done an absolutely phenomenal job, and I encourage the viewers to go study and see what you're doing on social media, because like not only are you one of the few that can probably print off hundreds of testimonials, literally, like there's so many testimonials, but also you've done a very very good job at building such a big vision that people, their vision can fit inside of yours, right? And that's how you build an absolutely phenomenal team, is they can begin to um, they're like, hey, this is my vision, but Daniel's is bigger, or Wealth Warriors, I should say, is bigger. And so it fits collectively kind of in that all the way around. Did you move at any point throughout your business journey, or have you been living in the same place the entire time, or was there a physical change along with the
The,
mindset change?
yeah, I used to live in a small city called Rancho Cucamonga. That's outside of Los Angeles. So I stayed there uh, about 10 years, 8 years actually, 8 years. Then right now I'm in Tucson, Arizona. So I moved here about 3 years ago. About 3 years ago. Yeah, the reason why I moved here is because uh, that was at the beginning of my journey, and I was struggling. I was on food stamps, and my brother-in-law he has a vehicle customization business in Tucson. So he said, "Hey Daniel, why don't you just come here, help me use what you are learning right now and help me to bring my business online and also make money by doing that." So I actually work in his factory for a little bit while I grow my business.
And is that how you got your start in digital marketing? Because you were helping him build the online portion as well?
Yeah, yeah. I started my digital marketing journey. Then they found out, they asked me, "Hey, can you use what you are learning and help my business as well?"
That's very interesting because now that's your forte is digital marketing as a whole. And I would say also organic marketing is really big on something you're very, very passionate about.
Yeah.
Um, how long did it take you to build the organic channel? Was that just a very slow process that built kind of naturally? I think everybody wants a skip button to build the organic side, but I don't think there is a skip button there. Um, what was that
Yeah, I
journey like?
mean, for if I turn myself back to beginners, right? If I don't know nothing, then it takes time to learn new skills. It takes time to let people know you, like you, and trust you. Okay, so organic marketing is is a slow process initially. Okay, but if knowing what I know right now, and if you do organic marketing properly, it's actually very powerful. Okay, so let me give you this quick example. There are so many social medias out there, especially for the viewers. If you want to learn how to get leads and sales from using your social media, I can tell you every social media platform works. Okay, if you master it, YouTube works, Instagram works, TikTok works, Facebook works. But if you are starting from zero, okay, like I was, nothing, right? I would suggest you start from Facebook. Okay. The reason being is Facebook is the only platform it already gather your ideal customers in the same room for you. Okay. Which means there are so many Facebook groups. Okay. Let me give you a quick example. If I want to sell a weight loss product, instead of publishing short form video content on TikTok and IG every single day, I can go to weight loss related Facebook groups. What kind of people will join weight loss Facebook groups? They either interested in losing weight or they want to sell weight loss product. So you can, if you can tap into, I mean, if you do it right, you can tap into your target audience right away. Okay, that will speed up your process. So if you start from zero, I suggest you start from Facebook. Then after you get your Facebook organic marketing down, then you can start driving additional colder traffic like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
That is wild you mentioned that. We just put together a team to do exactly that in inside of groups and communities, um,
Beautiful.
leveraging anyways, they're inside groups and communities, and then they're leaving the communities um to go to other basically friends of friends through these communities. And I didn't even think of it that way, where you talk about how there's these communities online that you can go to and tactfully you can sell. Maybe you can't promote, but you can build the relationships and sell to the people within the community as a whole. um,
Correct, correct. Because if we look at the lead, every business need leads, right? And but you got to look at it deeper, because lead temperature is also very important. Okay, so there are hot leads, warm leads, cold leads, right? So if you can find people, number one, they are problem aware, they are solution aware, they also have a burning desire, they have a problem they need to solve right now. Those are hot leads. Okay, But you will be surprised if you go to the right Facebook groups, you're gonna see people raise their hands openly asking for help. Whatever niche you are in, okay? If you can find those people, I suggest you start with those people first. Then after you take care of them, then you can add in additional cold traffic.
Anybody listening needs to go back and listen to that on repeat, because I guarantee you, you could do that for a weekend and make a couple $1,000s. There, if obviously you have to have a product, right? And nowadays with AI, if you leverage AI, you can build a product in 12 hours or less.
Mm-hmm.
But I highly encourage everybody to go back and listen to that, because that's some brilliant marketing tactics, and it brings followers to your personal page or your professional page that you're actually leveraging at some point to get other leads overall. um, and going back to the lead generation and the marketing side, what would you say, because I think you're highly qualified to answer this question, what would you say is the most overrated scaling advice that you constantly hear online that people should just stop listening to? There's got to be a couple things.
Um, like how to scale your business? Is that what? Okay.
Yeah, like what do you see a lot of people like, hey, this is the number one way to scale, or this advice. Everybody thinks they're a professional at scaling businesses. Here you are, you've scaled, you've done it. What's a couple things you see normally online that just doesn't, like, it's either A, you didn't do it, or it just doesn't make sense?
Okay, okay. I mean, this is my perspective. Okay, especially when we all got bombarded by different ads every single day, right? So you're gonna see a lot of experts. They will tell you, okay, hey, in order to scale your offer, scale your business, you need to do webinar. Okay, and next person, that person will say webinar is dead. You got to run mini challenges, 3 day challenge, 5 day challenges, right? And next person say you got to create value ladder structure, get your audience started from a lower ticket product, then upsell them at the back end. Okay, so there are all kinds of different methods out there, and from my experience, I want to remind viewers, okay, every every strategy works. Okay, I think people, especially business owners, uh they haven't mastered one strategy yet, then they got distracted by other shiny objects. Okay, I think that's the biggest pitfall for all the business who want to scale their business. Because when you look at this, let's say I'm a top songwriter. I know how to write a beautiful song. Okay, does it matter if I play guitar, or does it matter I use piano to play that song? It doesn't matter. Okay, so you can use any instrument to play a beautiful song. Okay, so all those different strategy, webinar, mini challenges, value ladder, they all work. Okay, they are different instrument. Okay, so don't get distracted by shiny object. Just master the method that you are using right now. I think that's the key.
That I've never thought of it that way. If you're an amazing songwriter, the instrument, it's the song that you're selling, or the song that
Yeah,
people want, not
yeah,
the instrument playing the song itself.
yeah.
Um, how at what at what point in your journey did you realize that the instrument didn't matter, but the product was the song, we'll say, was the number one? Where did that shift come from? Because I think a lot of business owners, like you said, are scattered because there's always new shiny objects.
Yeah, I also learned from mentors in the industry, because I was one of the people, right? Especially when I just started out, I keep chasing different, like a magic strategy. Keep buying different programs. I follow different people, right? Until I met an eight-figure mentor, right? Then he made over $30 million online. So that he told me the real secret behind it. Okay, it's about your offer, it's about your messaging. Okay, the way you deliver it, that they all work. They all work. Yeah.
Well, and going back to your point, even through your journey, even taking you all the way back to the very beginning, before you even had the online offer, before seven figures was even within reach, at that time, as you're expressing now, you were still interested in investing in mentors. I think that is so underrated, because so many times, and maybe it's just me, but a mentor can be someone you follow closely. Maybe not even somebody you're paying. You might not have the money to pay them,
Right.
but we live in the information age where there you can pick a few mentors, run with them as long as they've done what you want to do. I've noticed over the years, and you've probably noticed this as well, that even when you're talking, I was in conversation with a gentleman about a year and a half ago. He does $783 million a year in revenue, and I didn't know this until, well into the conversation. And my jaw almost hit the floor when we were talking numbers. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But what I noticed through the conversation was, even though I'm this big on his radar and he may be massive, all he wanted was a normal conversation. And if I could bring him value, he would keep the conversation going, because even people at that level, they don't know everything. So if you can bring a little bit of value, they will listen. You'll keep their ear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has that been a similar experience for you as
That
well?
that yes, that's actually a key. Okay, that's actually a key. I mean, because I, if you are looking for mentor, okay, I mean, um, you have to remember this. Okay, this is also a mindset I adapt throughout my journey. Um, you got to be a giver, okay, instead of just being a taker. Okay, especially if you want people, because I encounter a lot of people. Hey, a lot of people, their mindset is that they're gonna take it for granted, right? Hey, you got to help me, right? I'm broke, I'm struggling, I really need your help. But when you look at the people who achieve what you want to do, right? They are, especially the most successful people, most of them are a pure giver. They like to share value, they like to give, right? And by doing that, naturally, they have more support from their peer. That's how they keep scaling up. So, so I know it's very hard, right? Especially when I was struggling, all I can focus on is how to save myself. Okay, but when you somehow change the mindset, instead of being a take.
Well, especially in the online space overall, because a lot of times, people will say, and I've experienced it. I just experienced this yesterday. A guy said, "Why, if you know that you can, if you know you can help make someone money online, why don't you just give it away for free?" And the only
Mhm.
answer I can give is, if they don't pay attention, right? And so,
Correct. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
people don't understand that. And literally, what I said to him was, if that's the case, we're going to use the analogy that you're going to make enough money, we're going to take 50% of the profits to pay your tuition. I said, why isn't college free for everyone, and then the college just takes some of your annual salary? I,
Right.
it's not a good business model, and nobody would pay attention in college if they weren't paying for it. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
especially in today's day and age, if you really really want something, you can go out there and get it's available for you. um, and how have you, shifting gears just a little bit, if you had to go back all the way to the very beginning to build another, let's say build another seven-figure business from scratch, and you were starting with only $500, would you do it the same way you did it back then, or how would you do it today?
Um, I find a mentor. Okay, find a mentor. Whether working for that guy, if I was broke, if I'm broke, okay, or I'm gonna find the access to some financial resources to make it happen. Okay, because success leave trails. If you can find somebody who has who has been there and done that, and you resonate with the story, right? Similar background, get get together with that guy, okay, and just model everything that person is doing. I think that's the quickest way. That's the quickest way. In 4 years ago, I didn't have this mindset, okay, so I was the role was so bumpy. I tried to do this on my own. but it ended up wasted me so much time and also money, right? Because until I found my first mentor, I found my I found my first success. Okay, it's small, just first $10,000 online. But after I know the secret, in the last 3 years, I never stop hiring mentor when I need to learn something new.
Yes, I was reading something from a gentleman I follow closely online. I consider him a coach and a mentor of mine, not paid, but we do conversate, and he shares a ton of value. And he was, and I don't know where he got the statistics from, but the post was around how millionaires will spend anywhere from like 10 to 13% of their annual income on mentors.
Mm,
Most people listening today, and maybe not everybody, but those that are just getting started out, they can't fathom somebody that's going to spend $100,000 a year on mentors.
right,
But I always go back to say, if you spend 100,000, that makes you a million on a mentor. Was the 100,000 even? It didn't matter, right? Like
right,
it doesn't. And there's not any overnight success. There's no overnight fame. There's no overnight anything. But there are skip buttons you can use along the way. A mentor being one of those.
right.
Which I think it can be very, very powerful. And how going to the mentor side of the equation, because really you being a father and a husband, you're kind of the mentor of your family also through this journey. I mean, how has it impacted your family along the way, man, for you to really to have the mentors pour into you and then you can pour into your family? Like how has there been a lot of changes there?
Oh, a lot. I mean, personal life. Okay, I think this is something even more valuable than the money I'm making. Okay, because the like 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 I say, I was alcoholic. I was on the way of destroying my family. Okay, and so through this business, right, through Jesus' help and also other mentors' help and also my students' support, I got to become a different person. So I learned, right? Now I mean I'm a normal husband, normal father. My kids, they love my business, right? My son, they want me to teach them how to create YouTube channel, and so we have a lot of joy right now in the family. So I'm very grateful for this business. Yeah.
And I would say you're not a normal father and husband, man. You're extraordinary. You're not
Oh, you are too kind. Yeah, I'm just a regular guy. Yeah.
you're not normal in that aspect at all. I was talking with my oldest son the other day about or my youngest son because he got an iPad for Christmas. I told him I said you need to go learn marketing and understand AI. That's your goal and focus. Learn it, understand it because you'll always need marketers, you'll always need AI, and you'll always need
Yes,
salespeople.
sir. Yes, sir.
They're
Yeah.
not going
Yes, sir.
anywhere. But
Yeah.
we talked about like how powerful it would be to create because you're mentioning your kids starting YouTube channels. We talked about how powerful it would be to create like even an online offer to teach kids how to start a YouTube channel to get traction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anything you can think of, if you're thinking of it, somebody else is thinking of it, which tells me an offer can probably be created around it.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know, and even doing like again, going back to the AI stuff, like teaching the kids how to use AI in marketing. At the end of the day, even a 10-year-old kid can make a ton of money online. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, and also as if you're watching this as a parents, right? As a hardworking parents working your 9 to 5, I mean, we have to pay attention to the market trend. Okay, I think right now we are at the place, right? The 2025, the the digital marketing info products, right? The sell your expertise, knowledge using AI. That's where the money is. Okay, it's not like a traditional job. You work for 40 years and try to retire, right? Then you can enjoy your life. That's that's the traditional way. But right now the world is changing. I feel a lot of people they don't recognize this. So you got to pay attention to the market trend.
Do you spend some time watching the market trends? Because I'm in total agreement with you. 2025 is going to be a massive year for business owners. It's going to be even larger year for those that understand AI and how to actually leverage AI.
Yeah, 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 I do. I mean, I do pay attention to the market trend, and for any business owners out there, if you haven't implement AI in some aspect of your business, right? Then you have to pick it up, okay? Because we hear people talk about this. Hey, will AI replace my expertise, or will AI replace my business? Uh, the answer is no, okay? But the business who are using AI and you are the one who is not using AI, that business might replace you. Does that make sense? So you got to learn how to use AI in your business.
Yes, and they won't replace the people, but like you said, they will replace the business because you'll be 10 years ahead of anybody else implementing AI now. If you're
Right.
implementing AI. And that really, I think where people don't, even business owners, right? They may say, like, I don't have time to learn it. They will pay high dollar for a professional to come in and do that.
Mm.
There's a gentleman named Chris, and he created an entire company around training people on how to become chief AI officers. So as we hear CEOs, CFOs, CMOs, CTOs, now he's created CAIO. The company took off like crazy last year. It's in Forbes, and he's literally training these people. He used to charge. It wasn't. It was. I believe it was under like $10,000 when I was looking at the funnel, and literally placing them into Fortune 500 companies. And these people are making a ridiculous amount of money. And
Wow, that's amazing.
they don't even need a college. That's the best part. You don't need a college degree, but for AI, if you the AI will teach you how to use it if you just work
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yep.
It'll tell you like, hey, this is how you do this is how you do this is how you write prompts, and it speeds up time. But I think a lot of people, especially those in 9 to 5s right now, they're so scared of, because when I think of 9 to 5, you go back to like those that are working at Walmart, McDonald's, Target. They're putting self checks in. They have the hamburger flippers automatically there, and those people are so scared about what happens when technology takes over. And what they don't fail to realize is if they work with technology, it'll change their life completely.
That's very true. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, yeah.
you
And
know
also the people who are working at McDonald's, Walmart's, right? If you are not happy with the money you are making, uh, just want to remind viewers that the market pay you fair amount of money based on the value you bring to the marketplace. Okay, and flipping burger, right? Making minimum wages, nothing wrong with that. But I want to remind you that's not your real value. Okay. You can learn new skills. You can package what you know in your brain, right? Into an offer, into an infomercial product, right? And and make way more money from doing that. Okay. So you got to realize where your true value is and make money based on that value.
and almost everybody's willing to pay for it. It's $1 billion industry, which will probably be $1 trillion industry at some point. um,
Yeah.
but going to that, because you're mentioning how they are, you know the value will pay, or the where they're currently at is where they're going to get paid, right? If you could go to a business, and if somebody were to come to me today and say, Zach, I can help you generate $1 million a year in extra revenue, I would be more than happy to pay that person 200,000 a year. Right? Yes, like
Absolutely. Absolutely.
it's
Absolutely.
a whole game changing when you think of it that way. But how did you, because you're talking about like those people are not really making what they desire. I feel like if they're at those jobs again, there's nothing wrong with it, but they're not living out what they truly want to live out. How do and the pressure is probably on them right now to make changes as everything gets more expensive. But how do you handle pressure and setbacks now compared to when you used to be in the 9 to 5? Like what's changed on how you handle that?
You talking about financially or?
Financially or in general, like when you face setbacks and challenges now, how do you versus then, how do you handle those things now?
Right now I would say right now I would say I'm quite resourceful. Okay, that's also a skill that you need to learn, right? I learned through in the past couple years. And being resourceful, I think that's the ultimate skills to become a successful entrepreneur, right? However you define success is. So right now I know where to go. I know what I need to do. I'm not saying the setback is easy to be handled, but I know what I need to do, right? Before I might feel like a victim. I might feel like, oh, I don't know what to do, right? Maybe I should quit. Maybe this is not for me. Right now, I know the solution is there. Okay. If one way doesn't work, I go second way, but I'm gonna find a way to make it work. Yeah. So that's the big shift in my own mindset. Yeah.
When did you pick out that I had a coach tell me 2 years ago, and I was severely offended when he said this to me. He said, "Quit being a victim." And I was like, "Whoa. I'm not a victim." He's like, "No, Zach, that's exactly what you're being right now." And it was hard for me to take that in and actually work with it. But when did you pick up and say, like, this is my victim mentality versus my victor mentality, where you're actually winning? How long through your journey before you actually picked up on that?
I would say that was about 2 years ago. Okay, I mean, because like I say, I keep hiring mentors, right? I started from small. I started from free mentor, right? Learn from books, learn from videos, learn from course. Then when I had some money, then I start hiring mentor, right? Start scaling up. Like 2 years ago, I I had the chance to invest in a like a higher tier mentorship program, okay, multiple five figures. So once I got in there, I realized one thing. When I work with those coaches, they they tell you what you need to do, okay? Then they are off. You go back to make it happen. So through that couple months of working experience, I learned that key element that I was missing is that sometimes you just need to be resourceful and get it done. Okay, so they don't tell you. Okay, they don't babysitting you. When we jump on the call, they tell you, okay, this are what you have been doing last week. Then next week, these are the steps ahead of you. 30 minutes, then you go back to make it happen. Okay, and that month I made over 100. That was my first six-figure month, 100K month, just by being resourceful. Yeah,
Wow. And some people are probably thinking right now, they're like, man, multiple five figures on a mentor that just spends 30 minutes on a call and says, go do this. It's out
yeah,
of their
yeah.
reach. But again, like you said, that was your first six-figure month. So it was
This is
100%.
this is yeah. This is all in. This also going back to what you say. When people invest in themselves, when they pay attention. Okay, so I already lucky multiple five figures with this mentor. I got to make it happen. Yeah.
You don't have a choice at that point, man, or other it's going to be a waste.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And on the subject of mentors, what would you say is the one lesson from a mentor that completely changed the way you do business over the years?
I would say what people say is true. Okay, the achievement that you could achieve, just you can just you can tell by those close five people you are hanging out with. Okay,
Uh,
so the if there is a next level you want to go to, even though you don't know how to make it happen, I think the first step, which is a critical step, is to find a way to put yourself in that same environment. Okay? Because once you find a way to put yourself in that same environment, I mean, achieve that success becomes natural because you simply see what other peers are doing, right? Then that changes your thinking, that changes your habit. Then you do things differently. You think about things from different perspective. Then that's how you achieve that results that you wanted.
yes, and now you're basically saying the sum of the five people around you is what because if you want, it's Robert Herjavec from the Shark Tank has been doing a podcast. Which, if nobody's listening to that, or if anybody's not listening to that, highly encourage you to listen to the clips from it, because where at what other time in your life could you go and get free advice from someone that's worth almost $1 billion, right? I mean, it's 10 years ago that would have been impossible. 15 years
Hmm.
ago would have been impossible. Now
Right.
it's literally on your phone. But one thing he talks about is how he laughs and jokes that he moved back to Australia so he'd be a billionaire in Australia.
Okay.
Because of the
Yeah.
like the currency exchange.
Yep.
But he said, what he noticed was every time he's around other people that are light years ahead of him, it's forced him to get outside of his comfort zone. He one of the most impactful things he said on a short clip I listened to was like he was with Mark Cuban and something got brought up about the Jets, and he's like, and they asked Robert something along the lines of, "Why do you do what you do?" And he said, "Well, because I want to own a bigger jet than Mark Cuban." And Mark Cuban's like, "I've got two." And Robert learned in that moment, like, why am I being that way? I need to try to strive to be like him, and I can be in the room with him,
Mm,
which is going to push you ahead of the people who aren't in the rooms anymore, right?
right. Right.
And going into what you're doing now today, because I want to make sure that we spend the last 15 or so minutes on this. What would you say some of the most successful students that you've seen? Because for those of you that are listening that may not really know who Daniel is, you've got to follow him on social media. You've got to see what he's doing. It's absolutely phenomenal. But what would you say now that you've been mentored, you're mentoring people, you make multiple seven figures, you are living what most people would love to live. The most successful students you have, what would you say sets them apart from the average or most of the other students?
I would say the most successful ones. I do have some like interesting stories from students. Um, the I This is my summary. Okay, the most successful ones are the ones usually just like me who realize their back is against the wall. They have to move forward. Okay, they have to move forward. But I see a lot of people. They they don't like their life, but they suck it up. Okay, they just keep going the same circle again every day, not really burn the bridge and move forward. Okay, the real successful ones, they they realize they cannot live in this kind of life any longer, so they do things. Okay, they do things extreme focus. Okay, like I have a student who was the a chef. Okay, like cooking chef, right? And he was broke, and then he came to us, and he wanted to have his own online business. Then he besides his professional life as as a chef, in his hobby he liked to take photography, take photos, right? So he knows how to take good photos. Then he created his online business as user generated content creator, which means he will take photos, make videos on behalf of different businesses. Okay. So he offer his service to other brands, other business, and business pay him for his photo, for his videos. Initially, that was just a hobby. After he turned that idea into a business, he made over $125,000 in first 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is wild. $100,000 in the first 90 days by
yeah.
taking his hobby and turning it into an online business.
Yeah, yeah. I don't promote like a get rich quick
Yeah.
scheme, because all success take work. Okay, but there are a lot of like crazy successful stories out there online. You guys can see it all the time, right? So it's possible. Okay, that's where the real money is. If you are not studying online, right, find a mentor, get started.
That is intense, and I respect you for not promoting stuff like that all the time because it is get rich quick, right? Like that's and unfortunately, that's a lot of the advertisements we see today is like, "Hey, get rich quick." But nothing, Rome wasn't built. Rome wasn't built overnight. Um,
Yeah.
So, and if you don't mind diving into it some, man, because I would love for people to uh, really be able to not only connect with you, but also you're one thing that I know about Daniel and the team is that you guys are definitely in it to change lives. Like it's not to make quick money, it's not to go be wealthy, it's not to be rich. It's literally to change your student's life, your life, and continue to advance. But what would you say is your core focus today? Is it just helping people create the online offers and kind of launch them, or what's your main offer that you're still doing now that's actually making the most money and most success?
I Yeah, I mean, my brain, my team is still small. Okay, comparing to a lot of people, they use their online skill create huge impact, right? Like Zach is one, and a lot of people I admire. So my team is still small, but our expertise is to teach regular people. Okay, just regular people how to use social media and digital marketing. Number one, make money. Number two, develop that skill. That skill can you can take that skill to many places. Okay, let me give you an example. I had a student, right, and she before she came to me, she is a stay-at-home mom. Her husband they own a small family Indian restaurant. Okay, and their business was okay, but not making enough, right, to help them get to where they want to be. So her husband actually sponsored that student to join our coaching program to learn how to promote other people's products and get paid commissions online, right? This is what we call affiliate marketing. Okay, so once she learned how to do that, she turned around, used that social media skill to grow their own family restaurant. Okay, so their family restaurant was making about $400, $500 per day revenue, which is small. But after she know how to get leads and sales customers using social media to their restaurant, they are making like $5,000, $6,000 per day.
That is amazing, man. That is amazing. And I don't think enough people realize you're you and your team are living proof that it doesn't matter where you're starting from or what's happening, you can change your situation. And like you said, right, those whose backs are against the wall, they have nowhere else to turn. You have two options. Number one, hit your knees and pray. But number two is you better make some quick adjustments, because if they're comfortable, you probably have had people come to you that are already making $10,000, $15,000 online and they want to make more. They're not as hungry as the people that are at zero right now.
Right.
I've seen it time and time again where people are they're they're already making great money, and so and that's also what we do within our business. We work with a lot of people that are already making seven plus figures to personal income. It's a totally different process for them to do something a little bit different, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not as hungry as the people that are going to spend a few thousand to really change their life around. Um, and you've already probably answered this a little bit, but if someone in kind of moving into conclusion, man, if someone listening right now wants to hit seven figures online, what's the one thing that they should go take action on immediately as soon as we wrap up this podcast?
I would say number one, choose a business model. Okay, there are many business models out there. Okay, there are I don't know, maybe thousands of different ways to become a millionaire online. Okay, find a business model. Okay, that you can dedicate your time, energy into it. Once you pick one, then go all in. Okay, go all in. If you are at the point that you are thinking about should you start your online business or not, maybe you have your own internal fears, right? I also had a lot of fears because the future was uncertain to me, right? So I want you to look at your own situation, especially if you need money right now. If you let's say if you keep doing what you are doing right now, the life that you live in, you are not happy with it, you if you don't make any changes, 6 months later, if you are still at the same place as you are right now, or maybe sometimes even worse, how would you feel? If you don't, if you feel, if you feel bad, if you don't like it, then do it now. Do it now, because the only chance for you to change the life is by taking action. And so once you recognize that, there's no other option. You got to take action right now.
I love that. So pick something online that you can do and go all in on it. Get
Yes.
get yourself out of the way and go all in on it, man. I love that, and not enough people realize that's all it takes. Literally those two things, maybe three. Like there's only a few things that we have to do. And I'd love to give you a quick opportunity, man. Number one, thank you everybody for listening. Like, we appreciate it. But most importantly, Daniel, how can people get in touch with you, man? Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, how can they actually reach out to you, get in touch with you? Also, we'll drop it in the description below. But is it just Daniel Chow on all platforms? What's
Yeah,
the
you
best
can, find me, find me. I think the, if you guys want to talk to me, just find me on, type in Daniel Chou, Chou, as my last name, on Facebook. Yeah. Then yeah, if you have questions, right, reach out to me.
Perfect. And I would encourage everybody to go through the not just testimonials, but also what he's doing on a regular and a daily basis. You guys will get a ton of value and information from that. And I encourage everyone listening to really pick one or two of your biggest takeaways and share them with a friend. Going back to what Daniel mentioned earlier, was like just providing some form of value to the next person will get you light years ahead of anybody else, and it'll get you in rooms that you never thought was possible to be in. So, do you have any final words before we kind of wrap up, Daniel?
Yeah, I want to, I want to say that we all have, everybody has their different dream, okay? And I want you to believe in yourself. You have huge potential in you, okay? You have huge potential in you. Maybe there is some part of you, you can actually create massive impact, not just helping your own family out, you can also help other families out, okay? So but the only thing holding you back is your current circumstances, your own doubt, your own fear, okay? I want you to look beyond that and go out there, take action. Anybody can do this right now. Internet is crazy. You should be doing it today.
I love that, man, and that's a great way to wrap it up. We appreciate again everybody jumping in and listening. We hope you have a fabulous day, and go out there and share this with somebody that needs to hear from someone making seven figures. And that golden nugget he just dropped is the perfect way to wrap this up. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.